Aries, what's good with you? Let's do you an emergency reading and see what is going on in your life. Yeah, let's see what is going on for you, Aries. Okay, beautiful. We do have the Queen of Wands, but I can't help notice the Five of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So obviously this is your energy. This is you as a fire starter, having a lot of confidence and shining your light, right? But then around you, we have a lot of people that are kind of a little bit like either competitive with you or argumentative with you, or they simply try to put you down or trying to dim your light. Okay, this is the Five of Wands. This is called petty people that are always trying to argue with what you are, who you are, whatever you've achieved. I made a video about that. Make sure to watch it. But yeah, I feel like, you know, you intuitively already know who this is talking about, and you already intuitively know how to respond to it in a way that you don't lose your composure, in a way that you don't really need to defend yourself. It's like your light speaks for it. And I feel like with this, you know, little black cat there, you just are very smart and like decountering these type of energies, and it's like you almost are getting used to these type of people, either criticizing you or, you know, trying to compete with you in some sort of sense. But I don't see you losing your power. Matter of fact, you're just like owning your power. Okay, you're very, I mean, like, yeah, you're very attractive. You get things done. Look at that, the Eight of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. You're just minding your own business, honey. Always have and always will be. The Eight of Pentacles is you putting a lot of effort into your personal growth, into even your appearance. Okay, like the Queen of Wands is like the hot shot, right? Like whether you're a man or a female, it's like someone that always takes good care of their energy. Spiritual hygiene is like, you know, you're always at your best, and it requires discipline. A lot of things in life requires discipline. Success requires discipline, and I feel like you really know how to put in the work into yourself and kind of like cut out the noises here. And with the Queen of Swords there, the Queen of Swords is being very like high in their boundaries. They have a lot of self-respect, and you speak your truth, and you don't really push yourself down just to make other people comfortable. So that's a beautiful trait that I'm seeing here. And then we have the Three of Swords and the Emperor reverse. So there is absolutely someone around you that could be a masculine that is very dominating, is very controlling. And they could have some sort of heartbreak, but they don't operate out of self I wanted to almost say like self-respect, but that's not what I mean actually at all. I feel like this is someone that does not always take accountability. It's like, yeah, there's always like two to play the tango. However, you seem to be the one that constantly is trying to motivate, trying to get things working, putting in the work, standing your ground on your firm boundaries. But then we have someone here that is kind of like not doing the work, you know, or not doing what they're supposed to do. And it could be like taking responsibility of their own masculinity, right? And it's like you're not trying to lose yourself in it, as especially like a feminine here. I feel like you are in the state of like, no, this should be really your responsibility, right? Like you really try to aim to like, no, I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, like you should be capable of X, Y, and Z. So I do feel like you're really speaking up for yourself, and maybe even more than you used to in the past, right? What's going on with your with the person on the other hand? And I mean, like that emperor could have been like a boss, right? Like we're not completely talking about like love. It's just someone that's just like dominating on you in a way that is like they get frustrated because whatever they're trying to aim at is just not working. What's going on with the other person, whomever that other person is? Tell me more about who you are connecting with. Okay, very interesting. Like the first thing that I was getting here was like you both are not on the same path or journey, right? And that just means that you have a different journey and they have a different journey. And what people try to do sometimes is like try to merge that. And it's like maybe you're aware of it, but they let me just show you what I'm seeing. It's like the Fool and the Six of Swords. So this just feels like someone is in a more experimental life path. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But you seem to be a little bit more established in some sort of way, or you're putting in a lot of effort and work into your own personal growth and values. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that, right? We do have the King of Swords backing that. And then we have the King and the Queen of Swords back to back here. Now, this could have been also someone that is being a little bit judgmental or is actually reflecting a lot about the distance and the more free life that they want or they want to create in their life. So you seem to come from a place of structure, values, boundaries, whereas there is someone here that's more so focused on experience, open, just see how things goes, and then I'll judge it afterwards, right? So with that, both of you are in different timelines, right? This is someone that acts and then thinks afterwards, that doesn't have like a really, like maybe a relationship goal in their head, whereas you are more like, you want consistency, you want your sense of freedom, you want some privacies to be protected. There is like a different setting, like there's a different mindset here. What I'm getting at for you, Aries. Yeah. What is this person's true intentions with you? Eight of Swords. They don't know what to do with you. They don't know what to do with you. Their intentions is to get some clarity. They may be, they're watching you, but it's watching you from a distance. It's maybe watching your behavior and the way that you move in life rather than really engaging in it as well. The Five of Cups. They have a hard time of expressing regret, expressing loss, expressing emotions. This might be someone that's still stuck a little bit in the past. Here, Page of Swords. See, their intentions being the Page of Swords is, I don't like the Page of Swords as always the intention, because one, that's like, checking up on someone, but not really being open and honest, not being that direct, okay? Like this is being a little bit passive aggressive or dismissive in the proper communication. And then we have the Death card here. So it's like they need to get something off their chest, but they just don't know how. So they're a little bit intimidated by you. And it could be because this is someone that's actually reflecting back on their own life's journey, and they feel like they've done something that could really bring them a lot of regret. However, instead of like just owning up to it and expressing their regret, they're just like dabbling around the issue. But there is something massively changing here. There's definitely a shift here with the Death card. Something is transforming. So let's see where this is going for you. Where is this going for Aries? Nine of Wands. Where is this going for Aries and this person? See, the Page of Cups. This is so accurate. Like this reading is going as accurate as it could be, because obviously like the next possible scenario would have been to slowly open up their emotions and to slowly be more vulnerable. However, the Nine of Wands is still being very defensive and protective. So again, if I could if this would have been a very personal reading to someone, I would have seen it as someone that is probably reflecting a lot on the past and reflecting on the fact that they've chosen a different path rather than your consistency on yourself and your own path. And they're now a little bit stuck with like, why did I actually choose this path? It didn't really bring me the excitement that I've thought it would bring me. And this kind of like leads them back to you and how they would actually want to express their regret in regards to their own decisions or their own impulsivity in a timeline in their life. However, they're a little bit scared of opening up and being more vulnerable. Yeah, see the Emperor. You see, the Emperor is here really, really talking about them not taking the responsibility just yet to open up their heart, even though they want to. Okay, like this is a simple acknowledgement, emotional acknowledgement. It's simple, but it is showing a vulnerable part of themselves that they're a little bit scared to open up. So they're watching you, they're watching your behavior, but they're criticizing or analyzing their own journey and how they now understand, after everything that they've been through in their own life, that your way of being disciplined in certain ways or certain things is actually a very healthy boundary. You see, we're dealing with someone that's really overthinking, like looking at this journey that they've had. Very interesting, right? What is the outcome? Yeah, the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is actually a healthy outcome, because seeing this type of energy, it's actually healthy to actually address the things that really keep us awake at night. It's actually healthy to address the anxiety or fears related to perhaps commitment, because it's very obvious with the Fool and the Six of Swords that this could have been someone that put a lot more weight on freedom, on impulsivity, on adventure, on like doing something more rebellious than to perhaps to settle down or to choose a path that is a little bit more foreseeing, maybe. So I feel like the Nine of Swords is actually a healthy way of like being aware of certain behavior and what that consequence gave. And then eventually out of that fire or out of that smoke comes actually the fire, right? The Ace of Wands is like, okay, well, I'm still thinking about this. I'm still thinking about Aries or how things could have been. And it's time to kind of like put my best foot forward and be emotionally open and more romantically involved in this than being cold, okay? And being cold and dismissive maybe, or judgmental with this King of Swords. So expect a message to come in soon, Aries. Because you got the Page of Wands at the bottom of the deck. And then we have, we will be together again. And I replay our conversations over and over again. So the Page of Wands is also 3 pages. We got 3 pages here. So these are definitely messengers. I wish I could take back my words. So absolutely, there has been some words that has been said that actually put you in this position of, I need to have firmer boundaries with this person. Because you've worked too much on yourself. So this could have been like the outcome after the Mercury retrograde ended. We're obviously in the shadow period. So during that shadow period, we could be still reflecting back to a lot of things and focus or like realize certain behavior and how that impacted our life in the long run, good or bad. So let's see what else. It's time for me to heal now, is what the bottom of the deck is saying. Well, yeah, that's what I actually stated, right? Like the Nine of Swords and this sequel is actually a good sign, because it shows that someone is aware of their choices and their consequences. And as we're talking about that, we do have that justice energy coming through, right? And it says a win-win situation is in the forecast or in the outcome, which basically is saying that the only reason or the only way that you can actually, accept someone back is if they really have been thinking about certain things. Anyone that just walks back into your life, not really giving you any sort of acknowledgement or things to think about, right? So let's say, for example, you had like a massive fallout or you had a massive fight, but that person seemed to not have thought about anything that happened, and they're just like, trying to walk back into your life like that. Things don't work like that. It means that this person has not reflected on certain behavior. So prepare for a very fiery climax to come in for you, Aries. This is the Aries card coming through. So either this is going to be very hot and heavy, but it's going to be emotional. It's going to be an impact on you. And all you need to do in this case is to be still clear within yourself, but also be aware that this person has a lot of heavy emotions surrounding the situation and some sort of heartbreak in your life. Okay, that's what I have for you, my lovely Aries. Please let me know, drop a comment, drop a like, because that's the only way to support and help me out. And also like get a membership on my YouTube channel just to support me. That's the the illest, or get the early access of all the videos, as well as the extended videos on the membership. So if you want to support me and get some extras, then you know how to do it. Take care.